So let us go ahead and launch Databricks using Azure. We'll not be using the databricks.com URL. We'll not be using that platform. We'll be using Azure portal. The first thing we'll have to do is we'll have to, of course, log into the Azure portal and then get the global principal ID. What do I mean by that? So this is my Azure portal, and let me sign in here. And this is my Azure portal. If you click on this burger menu and scroll down, we have this Microsoft Entra ID. Click on this Microsoft Entra ID and then manage option. Inside of manage option, we have users. Once we click on users, we'll be able to see the users that we have defined. Now these are the users that I had created for my Fabric course. I do not have any other users as such. And this is the main user. This is the user which is a Microsoft account. And this is the user, or this is the email ID that I'm using to log into the Azure portal. This is the global user. Now if you click on this, it will copy this entire email ID. Now if you see the email ID, it is not Gmail. The domain is my email ID followed by onmicrosoft.com. So this is the global user ID. When you create your Azure account, this gets created automatically, and this is the principal name, which is the global principal ID. We have to copy this global principal ID because, as I told you, that the Databricks account is mapped to the Azure global principal, which is this one, right? So this is the Microsoft ID that I had created. Now once that is done, we'll have to log into accounts.azuredatabricks.net. This is Databricks account login, and the login ID should be the global principal ID that you got from Azure portal. So let's open accounts.azuredatabricks.net, and it will give you this login page, and here you'll have to paste the global principal ID. Obviously you'll have to provide the password, and there should be multi-factor authentication also, that is enabled by default if you're using Microsoft account. Now I'm logged into the Databricks account, and this is nothing but the Azure Global Principal ID that I have used. And this is the account ID, by the way. And here you can set the user preferences. Anyway, I'll come back to that later on. Now this is the account page, and here we can look at workspaces. We can create Unity catalog. By default, to get this Unity catalog based on the Azure properties, the default Azure properties. I had selected Central India. That's why we have this meta store from Central India. And if I want, we can delete this also. So we can delete this meta store because I do not need it. I'll be creating Unity catalog later on. This is the consumption that would be shown. This is kind of a report. And then there is this budgets also. How much am I spending? Then we have user management here. And right now I do not have any user whatsoever. We have these two users, both are external, you see. And this is actually the account. So that tells you that this is the account admin. And here I can add user. So let us go ahead and add a user. And I'll be creating a new user. Let's name it as 3IAM Azure Databricks. It'll ask me to create the new user and the email ID. So it does not necessarily mean that you have to have the email ID. So just add the user. So the user got added. There's the first name, and I can provide the last name. Let's say the last name is professional certification, or certification for that matter. Click on save. So the user has been added. Now this user, 3IAM AZ DBX certification, this user will not be created in Azure. I have created it inside of Databricks, but it will not be there in Azure. It will only be there in Databricks. Same would be the case with Unity catalog also, but I'll create Unity catalog later on. Now, apart from users, we can create service principals also by clicking this. Right now, we do not have any service principals, or we can create groups also. This is the default group, account users, and there are 3 members, and the sources system. Of course, I can add group here also. I'll not go into the details of these. Service principal is something which is important, and user is something which is important. And the way we assign roles to the users, it would be similar for groups also. Groups is nothing but a collection of users. Then you have security. In security, there are multiple options like networking, token report, authentication, etc. Then there are previews. What features are there in Databricks for a preview and their corresponding documentation. Then you have settings also like app connections, feature enablement, the language settings, preferences. how the interface theme should be. So it can be dark or it can be light also. And then we have account settings. So this is the name of the account, which is 3IAM Databricks account. So this is how we create an account. Now the account is mapped with the Azure Global Principal ID. So I'm at Azure portal now. So the second step is done. Then we'll have to create Workspace, because Workspace is the place where everything is done. So let us go ahead and create a Workspace, but we'll have to create the Workspace from Azure portal. So how do you do that? We'll have to go to the Azure portal and type Databricks here. So you see Azure Databricks, click on Azure Databricks and then click on Create. Now here, all the resources would belong to Azure. First, I'll have to select the Azure subscription and let us create a new resource group. This is the name, 3IAM Databricks resource group. And then I'll have to provide a workspace name. What am I doing here is that I'm creating a workspace. The account is there in Databricks, but as all the work is done inside of a workspace, we'll have to define the workspace using Azure portal. The reason being that workspace needs compute, it needs network, it needs storage. So that's why the workspace has to be created using the Azure portal. You can create multiple workspaces also. So this would be the first workspace. Let's name it as 3IAM DBX Workspace 1. The region would be Central India. And the pricing tier can be premium or trial. Make sure you select the trial, at least for the initial 14 days, it would be free. Then you have workspace type. The workspace type can be serverless or hybrid. If you select trial, you will not get the serverless compute. Only if you select premium, you'll be able to get the serverless compute. What would be the workspace type? Don't get confused with the compute. So workspace type is nothing but the compute that would be associated with the workspace. And then we can select a managed resource group name. Now, what is this managed resource group name? See, in Azure, all the resources are created inside of a resource group. Now, when we use Databricks, we'll be creating multiple components inside of Databricks, like the notebook, maybe delta tables, etc., which will be using cloud object storage and a few other stuff. So those resources would be created by Databricks, but inside of Azure. So we'll have to provide a resource group which can be used by Databricks to create the resources. And that's what this managed resource group name is. I'll name it as 3IAM Databricks Managed Resource Group, and this is the only resource group that I'm going to create. Then we have to select networking. So do you want the workspace to be created inside of a secure cluster, which will not give us any public IP? The answer would be no, because I want to have public connectivity, at least for the training. And then we can select whether we want to deploy the Databricks workspace inside of my own virtual network or not. Let's select yes, and I'll be creating a new virtual network. I hope you know how to create a virtual network. If not, go through the Azure Essentials. Right now I'll be using Fabric VNet, which I created for my Fabric course. Obviously, I'll change it later on. I'll be using a separate VNet altogether, but let us use it for now. Now I can create public subnet and private subnet. So let's create Databricks public subnet with the CIDR range 172.0.100/24. The reason I'm providing 172 because the network address of this VNet is 172.0.0.0/16. Then I'll be creating a private subnet, and the CIDR range would be 172.0.200/24. Click on next. I do not need any encryption as such. I do not need any security and compliance. Now these things are grayed out because we are using the trial version. I do not need any tags also. Let us review and create the Databricks workspace. The moment I create this workspace and once it is available, we'll be able to see the workspace inside of the Databricks account. Right now, if you click on workspaces, there are no workspaces as such. And you see, I cannot create a workspace from here. It has to be created inside of Azure portal. So let's wait for some time. Once the workspace is created, we should be able to see it here, and then we'll be exploring a little bit more. Looks like there is some error. The error says that the subnet DBX public subnet is invalid because it matches with something. Okay, let's edit this. I think there is already a subnet available with it. Let's redeploy it by changing the subnet. So this is the public subnet. Let's use maybe 51, and maybe this one would be 101, just like that. There's no specific reason to it. Now let us go ahead and create. There should not be any error as such. Okay, it says enable no public IP. I have to make it false. It is the public IP that I had disabled. So let's create now. It will take some time for the workspace to be created, and once it is done, I'll come back. All right, the workspace got created. Now if I go to resource group, I should be able to see the workspace, right? So this is the workspace of the Databricks service. It gives you the details about the workspace, like the location, the subscription, the resource group or the managed resource group, and this is the URL of the workspace and also the pricing tier. Now let's go to the Databricks account page, and once I refresh, you see the workspace is being shown here also, and the workspace is using the default Metastore or the default Unity catalog. I'll come back to this later on. I'll discuss about how Unity catalog is related with the workspace. But right now, what we have done, we have created a workspace in the Azure portal, but in Databricks account, I can see the workspace that I have just created. The reason is because both are tied together. Now, how do you log into the workspace? This is the URL. I can click on this URL, it will open the workspace, or else I can copy the URL and paste it in the browser. Now, when you do the login, it asks for continue with Microsoft Entra ID. The reason is because we have used Microsoft Entra ID to create the workspace. Now, what ID I have used? I have used this global principal ID, so I'll be selecting that. Now it says that I do not have permission to access this page in Workspace, so I'll have to give permission to that user. To solve this problem or to solve this permission problem, we'll have to handle the permissions in Databricks account console. We have already created the workspace. This is the one. We'll have to get inside of the workspace, and here we have these permissions. So you see we have configuration, we have permissions, and security and compliance. Configuration is getting carried from Azure. So we have created this resources in Azure. So we have this resource group, there's this subscription, etc. Now in the permissions, you see by default only the Azure tenant ID has all access. Now to allow the global principal ID, you'll have to add permissions here. And here you can search for the global principal ID. The name is Deep content 220 if I'm not wrong. And then you can add this, which is the global principal ID, and provide the permission as admin. But I'll not do it. I'll be creating a separate user for Databricks who can access the workspace. Now to do that, we'll have to go to Azure portal again. So this is the users in the Entra ID option. So you click on Microsoft Entra ID and go to manage. Here we have users, and these are the users which are already available. And this is the global principal ID or the global account. Now let's go ahead and add a new user. I'll name it as 3IM DBS Workspace User. And this is the domain. This is the nickname. And let's use the same display ID. And let us provide our own password. Next properties, next assignments, nothing has to be done. We'll have to create this user and make sure you copy the user IDs. So once it is created, we have the user ID available in the tenant Entra or in the Entra ID. You refresh, you will get to see the user, which is this one. Now we want to use this user as workspace admin. So I want this user to log into the workspace and do its job or to do its work. So I'll have to add this user. Let me copy this, go to the Databricks account. Again, go to workspaces, and here we have these permissions, and I'll be adding permission here. Now don't worry about it. I'll be handling the security section separately later on. Right now, we have to do it because we have to get everything up and running. So this is the user. And once I search, I'll be able to see the user, which is a Microsoft Entra ID. Now select this and give the admin permission. Click on save. Now I can log into the workspace using this user. How do we log into the workspace? We can get the workspace URL from here in the Databricks account console, or we can go to Azure portal and get the URL from here. Both are same, by the way. It is asking me to select the Entra ID just like earlier. Let me use another account, which is this one. I'll have to get the complete user ID. with the domain name. Click on next. It'll ask me for the password. I think it will ask me to change the password. This is right. So I'll have to change the password. Not only that, I'll have to set up multi-factor authentication also. So once the password is updated, click on next, and I'll have to use Microsoft Authenticator for two-factor authentication. So it has been set up in my phone, and I'll approve it in my phone, and that's it. I should be able to log into the workspace now. Earlier I was not able to log in, but right now I should be able to do that because the authentication is done, the permission has been given. Now I'm able to log in to the workspace, and I can see all the components of the workspace. Of course, I have not created anything. This is the workspace you see. This is the name of the workspace, and it is in central India, and I'm logged in using 3am_dbx_ws_user. And now I can go ahead and work in this workspace. Now that's how we can configure Databricks on Azure. If you're not using the workspace, make sure to delete it from the Azure portal. So what you have to do is that go to the resource group, select the resource group that you have used, which is this one, and here I have this workspace. Select this and then click on this, and then delete the workspace if you are not using it. Now make sure to do it if you are not using the workspace continuously. If you are using the workspace continuously, of course you can keep the workspace and work on it.